Indeed.
Are the others to witness?
I don't think so.
I mean, there's no harm in it. There's nothing else. There's no harm in it.
Very well.
Right.
Follow us to the woods.
By the way, I just want to point out, Edel not only looks evil, but she's also been drawn with shake lines. Like she was quaking while they were drawing her picture, which is a weird thing to draw into the picture.
Crap. Stupid Microsoft. Right. Okay. So yeah, those that are following, you were led into the woods. Doomhal, you're taken aside and asked to strip down to your underwear.
I'll strip out of my underwear. I'll go full nude.
Okay.
Very cool.
Ropes are then tied to a nearest tree and attached to these stakes. And the stakes are kind of like lying on the floor at the moment. And the Demo Fundamenta says, lie down.
Face down or face up?
Face up.
Alright. I do so.
Okay. Okay. Alright. Here we go.
Here we go!
This is where the jokey character gets beaten to death in front of everyone.
Yes.
So, one of them has a hammer in hand and places a stake, kind of grabs a bit of flesh and places a stake there.
You mean
And
beneath
it's-
the collarbone or above it?
Yeah, it's basically it's going to pierce the skin.
Going above it, like skin down or bone down?
It'll be skin, yeah.
Okay, so not as bad.
No.
You're still getting nailed to the floor, though, to be honest.
Yeah, but skin can heal. If you got me through there, that would be like, I don't know, long-term injury, horrible, horrible shit.
Yeah, so they basically the Morphen Neventa says one has chosen to take on the trial of the spirits. If they survive, they will be deemed pure. Do you accept this trial?
I do.
And with that, the stakes are hammered into your skin, and slowly you are hoisted up to hang there.
It seems like stakes are a weird thing to do this with.
Yeah, it
really feels like I could accidentally fall off stakes.
Well,
Yeah.
fall off
pins
upwards?
or something. It's pieces
No,
of
downwards.
wood.
Fall downwards. I mean, it's a stake. I mean, you could carve a hook out of wood. That's all I'm saying.
But aren't you on the ground?
No, they're hauling me up into a tree, aren't they?
Yeah, they're hanging him from a tree so that his flesh. Basically, these things are the only thing that's like holding him in place. It's piercing his
Plus,
flesh.
like, go in and then you put it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
was
saying. It's
going
like
into the
weird
ground
that a
and then-
stake would be used for this instead of like carving a hook out of wood.
I mean, they might taper to make it harder for you to wiggle off.
I don't know if it's tapering, then it's not really a stake, is it?
Wooden spikes are driven into the flesh. Okay, so it inflicts 3 damage points.
Hold on. My sheet.
Julius, he definitely knows what he's doing, right?
Um.
He volunteered for this.
Okay, I've never taken damage before. What am I doing on my sheet here?
Just take 3 damage down
You're asking me.
Where is that at, though? That's what
It's
I'm
a
saying.
tad too late, my friend.
at the top.
Do I like -3 on health condition?
Oh yeah, just what do you want to do?
Or HC
is-
rather?
Oh, the HC.
So I just go from 18 to 15.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
There's so much text there in abbreviation that I didn't know exactly what I should be doing.
Okay.
I'm still good.
So yeah, there's like he's just like hauled up, kind of like naked, from this tree, kind of hanging by these wooden spikes that are attached to ropes. The Morphen basically says he will stay there upon the tree for 3 days. If the spirits deem him pure and he survives, we will cut him down and he may be counted amongst the pure.
That's fine.
However, if the spirits deem him unpure, he will perish.
That's funny. Before I was gonna make a joke about carbo loading the meal, but there wasn't even carbs at the meal, was there? There was all just
Fungus.
yeah, fungus and whatnot. So wasn't even an option.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this makes sense. You don't want people wandering around during their spirit visions and whatnot. At the same time, though, I would say that tying somebody up with a rope would probably not.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
like-
the spike thing is to make sure you get only true believers and not, just randos.
Oh yeah, can you make me a complicated roll? A complicated.
I think all the rules in this game are complicated.
Relation roll.
I don't know what you mean by complicated. You mean
That's-
difficulty?
Oh yeah, it's
14 plus.
It's difficulty 14. Yeah.
Yeah, I make
Cool.
that.
Yeah.
Because unlike some people named Simon, I'm good at talking to people.
Okay, what you kind of get the gist of from the way that they've been talking is that their version of purity is that one must be strong of body and strong of willpower. So one of the reasons that you're doing this is to like test your body, essentially.
Yeah.
Testing my metal.
Yeah.
I mean, they already know that we basically believe the same things, and I understand where they're coming from. This isn't like the first time in a Demorhan history that sacrificing things or people has come up. So,
No.
yeah, and I mean, there's not really been a big hullabaloo about the sacrificing of people. Like I said, it's more about the community. If the community's accepting of it, then clearly it goes forwards. Also, I guess, proof. If proof is that it works, then here we go.
Yeah. At that point, one of the vigilantes is appointed to not stay right close to you, but stay guard so that nobody kind of like pulls you down or anything like that.
Pulling me down would be horrible.
Yeah.
I'd be pulled right through the...
I mean, like, let you down, you know? Not pull you. Ooh, oh.
Well, I mean, I think the point here is also that the pain is going to keep me awake for 3 days, because it's really hard to... Even if I
Yeah.
passed out.
Well, it's essentially like being crucified. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that depends, because the argument there is that crucifixion, they didn't actually, through the hands or the wrist, that they would actually just tie you up.
But yes, you are left there in the forest. The entire procession leaves, and you're all taken to the house of Roth, who has agreed to put you up.
Oh, well, there we go. You are all right, Domhall, right?
Well,
Nice.
Did you stay out in the
you-
woods with me? What are you doing?
yeah,
We
Dom
were
Hall.
witness.
Yeah, Dom Hall. You're not allowed to speak to him. It's
Well,
yeah, and you
I'm
just got
sorry.
led away.
I thought you described letting him down there for a second.
No,
Oh, no,
to prevent
that was-
anyone from letting me down. I'm there for
Yes.
3 days. You guys are back in the
Okay.
village. Maybe I'm the Wicker Man.
And I thought I had to deal with dark things. This is unpleasant to say the least.
Yeah, there's a heavy folk horror vibe to this session.
I want to say
Yeah.
that maybe
No,
that
I'm
would
saying
be...
that in character. I'm saying that in character.
Maybe
Yeah.
all of that, like, stabbing through the shoulders and it would be a lot more effective if I hadn't literally been sliced through the throat in real life. So,
Yeah.
We live
Okay.
the horrors of reality.
yeah. I'm facing worse.
So yeah, the you kind of like settle in for the night. It's like it's just a hut essentially. you have your own room, and you're essentially just given like these bedrolls to like sleep in.
All right.
He kind of, you hear like a bolting of like the front door, not your bedroom door. That'd be weird. But like, and then Ralph goes to sleep, and you're kind of. This is the only time, like, since you've entered the village, that you've actually been able to get alone without them around you.
So, let's summarize the situation. There's going to be a trial to decide whether the child can stay or leave. There's going to be another trial to see if we actually keep our guide, or he dies. And aside from the fact they like to beat the living life out of their own children, we haven't learned anything, have we?
Well, I mean, that sounds like quite a lot to me, actually.
Nothing of import that we get more information on what we want. And I turned to the lady and was like, I don't think we're going to get your child back. I mean, sure, they'll agree to this trial, but I think it's going to be a show trial.
Oh, we've got to do everything we can to get him. I can't leave him here. You've seen, you saw what they did to your friend.
Who volunteered, by the way. Don't ask me why. Because I don't know, and I don't want to know.
And she shakes her head. And I saw that girl. I can't even imagine what they're doing to Aiden.
Indeed.
You hear a kind of knocking at the window. Well, not the window, like the hole. Just kind of like knocking at the window.
The wooden shutter,
outside.
basically.
Yeah.
So, I'll just like open it up. It's like, hello.
Yeah, the face of the young girl kind of like pops up, and she kind of like looks around, goes, "Hi,
hey, how are you doing?
We need to talk." And she kind of like starts climbing through the window.
Yeah, I'll help her in. I'll close the shutter after her.
Before I tell you, you got to agree. You'll get me out of here, please.
Of course.
I already plan on getting at least one kid out of here, so what's another?
Okay. Okay. She kind of, okay. This place is bad.
You don't say.
I walk over to her and gently, sort of lift her chin and look. It's like, yeah, I'm afraid the evidence is all over your face, child.
Yeah,
And I sort of pat her and like, I'm sure she kind of flinches, but I try.
Yeah, she flinches. Yeah,
I try to be as gentle as possible. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Well, yeah. Okay. I've seen some things that's well, they're pretty scary.
Yes, hooking up people to trees is just the beginning, I take it.
Yes. Well, there was this young man. I quite liked him. And we were talking, and then they came for him, took him into the forest, and he never came back. I haven't seen him in weeks.
And you were punished for it.
I was punished for talking to him.
Incredible. And all the children deserve the same fate, I take it. For being children, I take it.
Well, any mistake that we make, and then there's the unpure. They don't live.
I said
Do they
ones with the veils?
No. Well, if you get ill, if you have something wrong with you, then they say that the spirits don't think you're strong enough to live.
So
And just to clarify, that's the people who are wearing the veils right now. They're just sick and ill.
Oh, no,
Or
No.
not them. Okay.
no, them. I don't even talk to them. They're weird. They used to, she kind of like chooses her words carefully. They
Mhm.
they went into the forest, and I knew some of them, but when they came back, they were changed, and they're like that now, and they all
Uh,
stay together.
Do I know whether first of all, possession is a real thing? As a cultist, I know that's a real thing, right?
Yeah, possession is a real thing. Well, it's definitely something that's been talked about in books, and it's in like numerous occult things. So yeah, possession is probably a likely explanation.
Does possession also alter the person physically? Can that happen?
No, that sounds different.
Transformation then. And I kneel down to be kind of at more her level. So we'll do whatever we can to help you. But
You hear footsteps outside the door, and then she just kind of like goes, oh, and just like climbs out the window.
yeah.
I go to the door, like, and I pretend to be sleepy, and
The door, yeah, and the door like kind of slowly opens, like creaks open, and then
Ah.
kind of peeks in,
right. What can I do for you, sir?
just
We're
checking
just-
on you.
Sorry, thanks. Appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we better go to sleep. They keep checking on us.
Hmm.
yeah,
Why-
so
By sleep, I mean keep a guard out.
yeah, I mean Alfie's gonna be sleeping with a knife in his hand.
I'll be sleeping with my dog. Carl's such a good boy.
Yeah, they're fine with you having the dog in the room. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Dogs are pure. That's just inherent, you know.
Yeah,
They're cool.
They're
with
of
it.
nature. Yeah.
Throat ripping nature that is, yes.
Um,
The question is, do we allow the trial of our guy to continue, or do we do something about it?
I guess it depends on how much help he needs. He's tied up out there.
He's dying. They're killing him.
Well, some of them have to have gone through it and survived. Otherwise, there wouldn't be much of a village, would there?
Yeah, it's the ones that were transformed.
Well, there's working, functional adults.
well, functional. Yes.
Well, I mean, they live and they're here.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So,
They're not all these possessed people you seem to think about. But look, if we think that our friend has a little help, I have a little way to cheat on the test. And, well, it's partly how I got through university in the first place, but... So I know a thing or two about properly cheating. So I have this, and I will show off the syringe of tonic.
okay.
Now, I'd have to be the one to administer this, as I don't think any of you know how this actually works. But it would certainly help them last longer.
What does it do?
It's blue, isn't it?
Well, it's a curative.
What does that do?
It heals people.
Should restore the blood, enhance coagulation,
It heals
render
people.
bruises
It's
faster.
supposed to
I'm a-
heal people. That's
I
what
am
it says.
naked, remember that.
Ah,
Well, I guess if you want to put it just that way, sure. Oversimplify it.
Well, it's not oversimplification if you don't know the basic terms.
well,
I suppose.
I don't think his guard's going to be too thrilled about you jabbing that into him.
Exactly, which is why it's why you have to avoid their gaze or cause a distraction of some kind. If the little girl could have told us exactly who and how many or where they watch from, because I doubt that they change their position often, maybe we could get around it. So if we can get that information from the girl, one of us could deliver the tonic or deliver me to her. At which point, well, we can get in, get out, and he should be fine for another few days.
Huh.
And I guess just to clarify rules, as an artifact, I do in fact have to be the one to do this because I'm the only one with artifact use.
Yeah. Right. Otherwise, they're gonna stick it in somewhere wrong.
Never mind that, like with the tonic, it's like, yeah, you can just.
I mean, does that require in that check to turn it on? You have to turn on
I don't think you have to turn it on, no.
I mean,
I would
technically,
say-
it makes sense. It's like when the doctor goes to inject you with something and they, squirt out just enough to make sure there's no air in there.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
you just leave air bubbles in and then inject it directly into your heart.
Well, I mean, I assume it denotes the amount that you over put into the syringe
Yeah.
to then be able to know how much you can squirt out of it to get rid of the air bubble while still
Mhm.
injecting the proper amount.
Okay, so Doomhal, you're gonna have to make me a stamina roll.
Oh boy.
All right, it's going to show how long I can go. What's a stamina roll? That's not a skill.
So stamina roll will be off. I think it's on this.
No, feats.
Yeah, it must
Yeah,
be.
that
That must
must
be a
be feats.
domain of feats. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm good at that. I say. Let me crit fail. Alright, easy.
a 10.
I mean, I got a +5 in that basically, so I thought
Okay.
it'd be good.
So you take 1 more damage.
All right, I'm still in the good range. I'm assuming G
And
means good.
yeah. So, yeah, and then the sheet will do any minuses that occur from going over to the other sections anyway. So, yeah, you kind of feel that your strength is like very slowly fading, and glimpsing out into the darkness, you see what looks like shambling figures coming out of the forest.
Oh dear.
They
How high up
are.
am I?
I think it says only about
1 foot.
no, 10 feet from the ground.
Just enough to hurt, not enough to save you.
10 feet from the ground.
Okay.
Oh, that hurts.
Well, I
And
mean,
yeah,
1 foot in the air would still hurt.
yeah,
It's all my body weight is being positioned on 2 points of my shoulders.
of the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say it would hurt more if it was in the bone, because that's bone pulling and skin
Yeah.
and everything else. But that's
And fracturing as it goes, yes.
yeah. Otherwise, this is something that people do as entertainment. So
Yeah, it says spikes driven into the flesh, so we could say that it probably something like that.
I mean,
So
I'm not something I do for entertainment, so clearly it's hurting me. But I'm just saying it's
yeah, true. And anyway, yeah, you've seen these like kind of shambling figures. They kind of like hunched over, and yeah, make me a perception roll. It's gonna have a few minuses because it's dark.
I'm also
But,
bad at perception. I never fails. I'm not. No, I'm the guide. Doesn't mean I see things. I just know things.
Yeah, to you they look like blurry, vaguely humanoid shapes.
I've got one guard beneath me, right?
Well, not beneath you. You're kind of far off and sleeping at the moment.
Do I think that the guard is in any immediate danger?
Right, let's see. What would that be? Make me another perception roll.
Easy. Probably the best I'll ever do.
It doesn't seem that he's in any danger. And these things seem to come out of the forest and kind of look up at you. And
I would say I'm gonna be
And-
quiet so they can't see me, but if they see me immediately, then whatever.
yeah, no, and then they just kind of leave and go back into the forest.
Okay, well,
Can you-
Hmm.
if they come up to me and they look up at me, are they still blurry or?
Yeah, because it's pitch black. You can just it's like seeing these like vague, kind of blurry shapes, kind of looking up at you, and then kind of like leaving and then going back into the forest.
All right.
Okay, so that's night one.
Oh
They
no!
look humanoid or they looked human.
Humanoid,
Okay, so they could have been
vaguely humanoid. Yeah,
those things then.
could be things.
Well, my problem here is that my knowledge is failing me every time I open my mouth. The ones that start with a P or an F.
Feondas.
Yeah,
Yes.
which literally hearing it could still sound with a P or an F or both.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it just means the enemy.
because I mean, like hearing the word and spelling the word are different in this game. Like Demorhen contains multiple T's.
Yeah, it's because it's based off Celtic.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Of Gaelic, not Celtic. And there's a bit of Welsh as well. Cool. So yeah, day one. Okay, so you are pretty much woken up like about 5 a.m. and like Rolf basically says that it's time for breakfast.
Oh, what time is this? This is even late afternoon. Where's brunch?
And
Traveling was a terrible idea.
he says, "Get yourselves ready, and we'll head to the communal hall
All right. I'm going.
for breakfast and prayer." Okay.
Well, off we go then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are taken to the communal hall, and kind of everyone's there at the moment, kind of having their breakfast. And you notice that the Demorphin and the Iothin have got their own tables, and the veiled ones are also there, kind of
Hmm.
at the other side. Uh, they're fairly far away from the rest of the group, and just kind of lifting the veils, having the breakfast. It seems to be some kind of what you think might be porridge, but when you like dig into it and like taste it, it tastes mushroomy. It's like a pulped mushroomy stuff.
Oh, so we have cream of mushroom for breakfast.
Very nice.
I guess you can plug mushrooms on the ground and it doesn't affect the earth. Huh?
So, you mentioned that there's like vegetable gardens, but they're not eating any vegetables, right?
Yeah, they do have vegetables and stuff for that. It's just that like instead of grains and stuff for that, they use this mushroom.
Hmm.
Okay.
So their granary is more of a mushroomery.
Yeah,
Sure.
a shrubbery. Yes.
Shrubbery. So basically, it's a place that is dark and full of shit.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then about halfway through the meal, the Morphin stands up and says, "Today we are to welcome back one of our number who had been sent into the forest to cleanse his ways. He shall return today, and we shall welcome him." Then he goes on, pretty much just kind of like preaching about the purity and saying that, like, the outside has tried to influence us for so long, but we have kept pure. And this goes on for a while, and it
Yes,
starts off as like a speech and turns into a full sermon.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's not going to influence the trial whatsoever.
Yeah. So I guess while he's giving the sermon, I'm gonna kind of like pay attention to who's really not into it.
Trying.
Trying, of course. But I'm just talking about like generic tavern.
Yeah, okay, cool.
generic politics, of course.
So there is a hidden mechanic in this scenario called indoctrination.
Ooh.
And different villages have different levels of indoctrination. So you need to make me a relation roll, and it's against their indoctrination.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm sure they would all
Simon.
love to hear about Magicians.
Simon's so good at talking to people.
Someone else might want to give that a go. All my relations have been like ones and twos.
Yeah, but can we do multiple rolls? Is somebody already rolled?
Yeah. I'm going to
Yeah.
say that you have at most 3 rolls because this will be during this entire sermon.
Okay, well
Alright.
then I'll click my relation.
I mean, to be fair, Magicience is probably the most offensive thing to these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
At least
Okay.
I'm on the right track. Not everyone is going to be 100% into it.
Yeah,
Nobody.
You get a sense that there are there's like probably 3 different groups. There are the zealots that are like everything must be pure, and then there is also like people that were kind of born into it,
Mhm.
and then there are the afraid,
Mhm.
who are scared, kind of hiding that they're scared, but like especially for someone that's like trained in like mental manners and stuff like that, and also in what is essentially kind of a theory of fear, which is the occult and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You kind of get the sense that there is this kind of layer of terror and kind of unease with this particular group, and it seems to be split in kind of there's about 50% zealots,
Mhm.
and then about 25 of the other groups.
So they're evenly matched. Where the 2 other groups were too.
Yeah, born and afraid.
So basically, it's the true believers, the people who are just tolerated because it's the way that's the way of their life.
Yeah, it's the way
And
things have
those-
always been.
And those that are probably resistant to it, and that's why they're being attacked and singled out. Yeah.
It is enough for a walkout, at least.
Well, the problem is with the zealots, they'll try to if they walk out, they will be attacked, and then the question goes where the people who are accustomed to, which way will they turn? If they
Right.
turn to assist one side or the other, then we can have a fighting chance. But if they assist, if they go with the zealots out of just tradition, then we're screwed. We're not gonna have to walk out, we'll have to run.
Yeah.
The question is, I think the argument we have to do is to convince them that the best way to purge their village will be to get rid of the child or children. They're unwelcomed, they cannot be broken, they will continue to be a problem. Kick them out, exile them. That should be our argument. That way they're not a problem anymore. Don't have to waste energy on them. They wayward children that are lost to the world. Let them suffer at the hands of the impure.
I mean, the way they described it sounds like they actually like throw them off a rock somewhere, though.
Oh well, let's try to
There's a lot
coach
of
it.
good summer kind of vibes to this.
Yeah.
Let's coach it in a way that we will, take care of them. Right, we will make sure that they will
Right.
never drop in their step again, their doors.
Trine actually brought up an interesting thing last night. Or, well, I guess I wouldn't say that out loud, but interesting thing last night. There are people who get ill and are just told to suffer it. I believe I could actually help them.
I don't think they want you to help them.
Well,
But
if they don't happen to be a true believer
Oh,
and they
yeah,
get better.
they pretty much
Yes.
cast out the sick and the weak.
Mhm.
That's what she said. Yeah,
Yeah.
cast out from the
So-
village.
Well, there we go then. Well, that was one idea.
Yeah.
I mean, if we see someone getting sick, the problem is just one person. It probably is going to be backfiring because they will think you're going against the traditions. They got better, but not because of the spirits. So you have introduced something from the outside. They're not. They're going to say they're not truly pure, which means they're spiritually, tainted, which is worse than being physically tainted, I suppose. Although they see this as the same thing. And the pitchforks. Well, they don't have torches, but they do have fists. The farm instruments, right? Although, and I fill my pocket, and I do know that I also not only do I have my matches, I also have tinderbox. I kind of smile wickedly and go, "Well, when worse comes to worse, we can make the nightmares come true."
True enough. Though, probably like to leave a little less destruction than that behind us.
We're outnumbered.
Also true.
So you're discussing this, like while the sermon's going on, and the sermon
Oh,
kind
no.
of comes to a close, and you hear like an applause, and
Yeah.
they all stand up and as one say, "Hail, Madat, Lord of the Roots." And then the Dwarfen says, "Hail, Madat, Lord of the Roots. Now, my children, go on and do your day's work. Madat is with you."
Anyway, with you. But
Okay.
So yeah, they all just start leaving. The two villagers, ever present, are standing there. They say,
Yeah.
"Well, we can't let you stay here just on board, so you're gonna have to make yourself useful." It points at Alfie and says, "You look strong. You can go and
Alright.
work in the field."
I've got experience, so let's get on with it.
And kind of looks at the other two of you and says, "We don't have much use for those of the more intellectual kind here. But there are some berries and crops to be taken from the forest." And kind of like points to like a group of women, essentially.
The gatherers.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
So
I go with them.
Ladies.
I go with them. I go with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
People tend to talk when they're actually. Can I? Yeah, I
They're
have
busy
stealth.
working, yeah.
I have stealth. So can stealth be used to pass something along?
Yeah. So
covertly?
that is one of the things in this is that because they were ever vigilant, you've got like loads of eyes on you. So yeah, you can do stealth to try and pass something across.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hand them like I'm gonna hand Alfie just a couple of matches,
Okay.
which are tiny. Just like
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. You managed to get them across easy enough. They don't spot
Yeah.
that.
yeah. I'm basically gonna pat him with like the back of like go to him. If he needs to start a fire, maybe he can do a couple of matches. I don't know. I don't know how helpful that will be, but better to have them and not use them then.
Okay. So yeah, you basically go out to do your respective things. Like Alfie is taken
Yes.
with the like kind of like the harvesters essentially to go and get more of these mushrooms and such from the fields and the vegetables, and kind of like plant them, and kind of one of the villagers that was with you, Geoff, is pretty much with you all the time. Is pretty much assigned and kind of like digging alongside you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, just doing like the farming and harvesting work, Alfie starts to he's a bit less on edge when he's actually doing that hard labor because it's
Yeah.
what he's used to.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, this I understand. This I understand. This works.
Yeah.
This works.
The-
All
the-
right.
Yeah, and then the interesting thing is like usually in this kind of like situation, like people would be talking and such, but it seems to be done in almost complete silence.
Ooh, not as good.
And
All right.
yeah, just kind of going through.
Mhm.
Again, you see kind of this nervousness between these different groups. Like there are people that are really like enjoying like the kind of the solitude and kind of like the purity of just like working on the land, and then there are others that are just kind of constantly glancing over the shoulder to see if someone else is watching them.
Mm.
And you pick it up as like time goes by.
Yeah.
Okay, Doomhal. The Damafia and several children come over to see you hanging there,
Okay.
and the children just start picking up stones and start pelting you.
Okay.
And she like she kind of like ushers them away and says, "No, no, come do that, no."
It's
And
all right. They're just children.
and she kind of like looks up and nods and kind of leads the children away. I am sorry, I was just taking them to see one of our rites, as kind of teaching them about our ways. But yes, I will take them away now. And she kind of like leads them away.
And severely beat them later, yes.
Or congratulate them. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Next
Oh,
time
you
use
did
bigger
exactly what
rocks.
I told you to do. Good job.
And so you're kind of led out the same. So those that have gone to like do the picking and stuff like that, and you're kind of led out of the forest through the same kind of pathway that led to the where the ordeal's going on,
Mhm.
and then it kind of like branches off and goes in a different direction. And one of the women, who's about middle age, seems to be kind of in charge of this group, says, "You're only to stay in this area. Do not go further into the forest."
Sure that we're not supposed to intrude in the Lord of Roots domain more than we should.
Yeah, and then pretty much the same thing, like as Alfie experienced. Like everyone is in complete silence. Now and again, there is like some talking, and it seems to be mostly between um, the one that's in charge and like one of our underlings, essentially. But that is pretty much all it. The rest of them are in just complete silence.
I was kind of expecting them to be chanting or singing or something, just to keep up. This is creepier, actually. Yeah. What type of root? I mean, they're basically okay. They're basically looking at the base of the trees and ripping berries and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But they're not uprooting anything, right? They don't.
No, they're taking things. They're not uprooting or anything like that. Yeah, they're just taking berries off the trees and things like that. Things that are just the fruits that are hanging there,
Mhm.
and then just put them into baskets, and then that kind of goes on for like a few hours, and then you hear like one of the villagers like call and say, He's coming back from the forest. And then all the women just kind of like at once, like kind of like get really excited. And you see, also Alfie, you see this as well. That they all start like leaving to go towards the the passageway into the forest. And a young man, like kind of battered, kind of like scratched up, with like his hair looks messy. He looks like he's been in the forest for a while.
Yeah.
Comes like stumbling out, and they start throwing stones at him.
Guess he ain't done yet. Put him back in, he's not done.
And they kind of like, and then like one of the villagers like kind of punches him in the face, and he falls to the ground and he kind of sprawls about in the mud, and he's just taking it.
Horrifying.
But didn't the
And then the Demorphin comes out and steps, kind of like pushes his way for the crowd and says, by a trial, he has been proved to be pure. Whatever transgressions he had before are now gone. You may love your brother. And then they all start hugging him.
wow, yeah, I see what he's doing. People live or die by his word, basically.
Yeah.
And then this kind of like this weird kind of whatever it is that's going on seems to kind of spread, and they all start hugging each other and laughing and cheering.
Okay, what's the name of the girl? Is she there?
Trine?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of like near the back.
What's her reaction? Does she recognize this young man?
She recognizes there is like a flash of recognition, but you get a sense that she's like trying not to look at it, at what's going on, and kind of like looking elsewhere.
How does it do? Is he? I mean, once to start hugging and stuff like that, what is his reaction? How is what's it? Because he was willing to take the hits, but now that
he's like kind of in the mud weeping.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he's completely being broken down, and they're gonna build him up again.
Yeah, and he's weeping, and then is like there seem to be tears of joy, and he's just kind of smiling and crying, and then there's this kind of like the sense of the community just kind of surrounding him with affection.
While the community's kind of like distracted, I'll probably like gently nudge Trine and like lean down to whisper. Tell him if he's not feeling well, he can come and visit me tonight. And that's all I say.
Oh. And she kind of like doesn't. She just kind of like nods and just kind of like keeps looking down.
Yeah, and then I pretend as if nothing happened.
Yeah. So yeah, that goes on. Eventually, they just kind of like disperse. The young man is led by Demorphin, Venter, and Iothin Karef to the Demorphin's hut. And they just stay in there for a while. The rest of the village...
They're having the "you're a man now" chat.
Yeah.
It's weird that the T is pronounced in that word, though. Demorthan, not Demorhan.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Demorthen, but I would be, you say, Demorhan. So that's saying it's weird that the T is pronounced in Demorthan.
Oh yeah, no, I just keep pronouncing it the way that it looks.
That's fair.
Because otherwise, it's a one-letter pronunciation difference, which would be very
Yeah,
confusing.
it's
I
the
guess.
Mohan.
Yeah,
It's
I'm a Demorhan. She's a Mohan.
Yeah, and yeah, they're in the hut, and the rest of the village just kind of go back to not to their work. It seems to be getting to like lunchtime now, or dinner time. Let me see. Typical day.
Peas and carrots.
Mushroom time.
Yeah.
Did the idiots pick the wrong mushrooms? Is everyone
right.
going on a trip?
Listen, I'm professional peasant. Harvesting season's in my blood. Doesn't matter what I'm picking up off the floor. Goes in the bag.
There is a time of prayer first,
Of course.
which they kind of like recite some right about the Lord of the Roots and how they protect them all, and how they must stay pure. It's the same thing that you heard earlier on, but kind of shortened down into a prayer. It seems like this thing is kind of like rooted everywhere. The idea that he protects us all, he keeps us pure, the outside is bad, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a very insular kind of.
Yes, and they go for their prayers, and then they do that kind of like out in the in the town center, and then they go through to the common house and start having their dinners again. Which is it's pretty much the same thing.
It's daily village
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too different from the normal like wheat gruel. So
No.
what can you say?
So yeah. So while you're having dinner, what would you like to do?
I'm just hanging around. Using Alfie's joke.
So yeah.
Yes. Well, when I first saw the trial, I thought it was gonna be an ordeal like the one our druidic friend is going through. But if
But
there's
here they're just throwing him out into the woods, I suppose.
if there's a jury, if there's an actual group of people that are going to judge him, it seems to be something different.
Just to remind out of character. The fact that I'm going through this trial means that I'll be able to speak at their trial. To give you context, if they're going to go through an ordeal, they don't have to typically speak. It's an ordeal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess this would kind of be the talk of the village right now. This person, this kid just went through this. Was that the same ordeal Eden is also going to go through?
No, this seems like whatever happens, it's like it's been struck from the books now. It's like, oh, you went out and did this. Well, that means that whatever trespasses you just did, they're gone. So it seems like whatever he did, like leaving the village, going into the forest, whatever happened there, made it so that he was pure enough to come back into the village, and that all his transgressions that caused him to be cast out are now gone. But that's literally all he can get, and it's like it never happened. Like whatever he did, it never happened.
Let's never speak of this again. Yes.
Yeah. It's been struck from the books.
You had your month of shunning. Now you're back.
Yes.
You're one of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially it.
Okay.
So, thoughts and theories. What can we leverage right now? Well, I guess I at least have my plan.
Oh,
Yeah, but
yes.
I think the problem is that we don't have enough of them to be able to know how to sway them.
We don't.
Hold on. Slay them.
Sway them. As in convince them of things.
I mean, to be fair, Alfie would be pretty good at slaying them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, slay them. So you mean have me slay them?
I mean, an expert in defense couldn't dodge Alfie, so.
Well, the evening will be more free for you to do stuff because
Mhm.
last evening was taken up by, putting Domhell through the ordeal.
Yeah.
But they do have like a I guess like a recreation period
Mm-hmm.
just before they go to bed. So
Oh, good.
you'll be able to talk to people a bit more freely then, without
And
them being in routines and stuff.
right, so maybe now is the time to approach some of the people who seem afraid and see if we can convince them to
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
No, I
Or at
don't
least
think.
convince them that we're with them.
I think I want to try to feel out more people who are in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see where they stand.
Okay.
So we'll both tackle our own angles here
Yeah.
then. Okay.
More like
So-
I don't want to question them so much as sort of follow their conversations and their points of interest. They're really talking about mundane things like, oh, today was, we didn't get as much we thought we were going to pick or whatever, right? They have to have some trains of thought, even if they couch it in religious ways. I'm sure they're gonna have like mundane ideas
Yeah.
that they're talking about, and I want to pick up on those things.
Yeah.
What's their interest, etc.
Okay, so I'll start with Simon.
Okay.
You go and approach, like, they seem maybe like a few years older than Aiden.
Mhm.
It's a bunch of young boys, and they kind of like see you approaching. They were in the middle of a conversation. They kind of see you approaching, and then kind of like stop and
Oh,
kind of look around nervously.
morning, children. How are you doing?
We're
Or well,
doing
evening.
uh, we're doing fine, sir.
Oh, well, you mind if we sit together? I have nothing else to do this evening.
Of course. And
Course.
they're playing like a dice game together.
Mhm.
But it's not it's not. There's no money changing in play. It's just
Right, they're just playing for fun.
yeah.
So, I'll try to get on their good side. I'll go, oh yeah, I've played a whole bunch of dice games back over in the city. Here's how sort of the probabilities work. This one's likelier to occur than others, etc. And try to simplify that down. I'm a professor. I know how to teach people and make it interesting enough that they don't fall asleep during a lecture.
Okay. Let's see what that's gonna be. I think it might be relation again.
Yeah, it might just be relation to actually do it because I mean I know what I'm talking about. Believe
Yeah,
that's not a roll.
Yeah. Okay, relation.
Hey, 11.
Yeah, they like a few of them are kind of lost, but like they kind of like interested and like seeing that there's like a greater work. It's not just random.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they kind of smile and like listen to you for a while and warm up to you a little bit more and kind of get you involved in the game.
Hey, that's great. I'd probably end up losing the game. Not on purpose, just because I'm that unlucky.
Yeah, so like let's say you lose and kind of said one of them says like you're from outside, right?
That's right. From I forget the city's name again, but from over there, and I work over at the university.
Wow, that's and yeah, that's really interesting. We haven't been outside before. They won't let us outside.
Oh. Well, it's really quite wonderful if you could ever come and visit the city, really. It's uh and I'll try like poetically describing. I'm trying to think like a good way to do it.
Uh,
It's much larger than this village, that's for sure. But it's on different tiers, and there are bridges connecting it to and from, and lights everywhere.
that sounds amazing. And they kind of like listen to your every word. Um,
Hmm.
at that point, Ruff starts like you get the sense that he was never too far behind, but he's now
Yeah.
making his presence known as he kind of steps
Right.
forwards and doesn't say anything, just kind of his arms folded, like standing behind you.
Yeah, and this whole time I've been like careful to not like specifically say anything. I'm just like describing stuff, This is my life.